Okay, so this is going to be a little update video on my Triumph Stag project. I didn't really mess with it over the winter. It was sitting at my buddy's house in a field, so the weather is nice right now, so it's time to get this thing on the road. I want to take the top off and drive this thing. So I got a lot of stuff I need to do to get it done, but just only a couple things to get it roadworthy. So my engine bay is pretty much done. A little cleanup to do. This wiring is the original old wiring. I need to clean up all this stuff. When I first drove this thing, we had sold our house and I hadn't started the motor until 10 o'clock at night before closing the next day. So it was a mad dash, but it fired right up and I drove it out of there. So I need to clean up the wiring a little bit. And my main issue when I took this thing on the road was the front steering. I had put in, this is a lower A-arm off of a Subaru Outback, and I've used most of the Subaru stuff, and the tire pivots on the shock itself. So there's the bottom ball joint, and then the shock bolts to the wheel assembly, and it all pivots on that. And my main issue was the caster, which is the angle at which the wheel pivots, was perfectly straight up and down, which was horrible. If I went over 30 miles an hour, it would just dodge left and right uncontrollably. So for a while I couldn't figure out what was wrong. But I figured out you need to have caster, which is the wheel pivots at more of an angle, just like on a shopping cart. So that helps with straight line stability, and I'll be doing that. So I'm putting in another A-arm here and using these shocks just to take the load. So I'll mount those shocks to this bottom A-arm, and that way I can get as much caster as I see fit. Well, we'll see. The rear end is holding up great. I had to shorten this drive shaft. This came with the car, and when I got the car, it had a Mustang V6 engine and transmission in it, and this is the Mustang drive shaft. I had to shorten it about 6 inches, no vibrations. I took off the exhaust because it had really bad drone on deceleration. So I'm going to redo the exhaust too at some point. My CV shafts that I shortened 2.5 inches are working great, no vibration. I've done some pretty good burnouts with this thing, and it has a posi rear end, so I mean everything is holding up pretty good. I just need to get the front suspension figured out, because when I bought this car, the front suspension was shot. It was all cut up and it was just totally unusable. So this is what I'm working on. Hopefully I'll have this thing on the road in a couple days.